Let's wind the clock back a few decades to the late 1960s, a time when dating was straightforward and relationships followed a predictable pattern. Enter Michael, a high school senior and a popular athlete at his school. One bright spring afternoon, Michael spots Rachel, a cheerleader, practicing routines with her team. Inspired by a huge surge of confidence typical of his sport-driven assertiveness, he decides to approach her right after the practice ends. Michael, walking up confidently, "Hey Rachel, I've seen you at the games, and you're really great out there. Would you like to grab a soda with me sometime?" Rachel, smiling and a bit surprised, "Hi Michael, sure, I'd like that. When were you thinking?" "I was thinking this Friday, after the game. We could go to the diner. My treat." "Sounds like a plan. I'll see you then." As simple as that, Michael and Rachel started dating. The relationship blossomed quickly, grounded in the norms of their time, where relationships often move swiftly from first dates to steady relationships. By the end of their senior year, Michael and Rachel become an item, well known throughout their school. Their decision to become intimate was a mutual and natural progression of their relationship, reflecting the societal norms of the era. The story of Michael and Rachel represents a common narrative of the time: straightforward approaches leading to meaningful relationships. However, as we return to the present, we find that the path to relationships and intimacy have evolved drastically. Today's youth are maturing at a different pace compared to previous generations. They are postponing major life events such as acquiring driver's license, pursuing higher education, and moving out of their parents' homes. Recent data from a UCLA survey reveals a notable trend among 18 to 30-year-olds. Approximately 52% reported having just one sexual partner in 2021, a slight decrease from the previous year. Moreover, the percentage of young adults with 2 or more sexual partners has significantly dropped from 23% in 2011 to just 10% in 2021, a 10-year gap. In an age dominated by dating apps, many young people find the idea of initiating a relationship through in-person encounters like spontaneous meeting at a bar or dance club to be quaint, almost nostalgic. Even friendships increasingly become formed via text message and video chats nowadays. The shift in social dynamics prompted me to explore why today's youth seems to be less inclined to approach potential partners in person, unlike previous generations such as Michael and Rachel, who navigated dating with apparent ease. What does modern dating and approaching potential partners look like now? Let's find out directly from the experiences of current college students. As you can see here. So you can just talk to the microphone.
Okay.
First of all, what's your name?
I'm Emily.
Nice to meet you, Emily.
Nice to meet you.
So essentially today I am asking students about their experiences with dating. I think that just applies not just to, like, I guess, not dating here on campus, but I mean, you have said that you are doing a long distance relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What's that kind of been like being here in Syracuse, New York, and your long distance being, I imagine, back home or a different school?
Yeah, just at New Jersey. I live in New Jersey, so about like a 4-hour drive. Yeah, it's been hard, to be honest, but I think if you have like the foundation, then you can make it work. But at least from my like friends' experience and stuff, definitely dating on campus is not the best, especially with like dating apps and stuff.
Could I ask about your relationship?
Sure.
And of course, if you don't want to answer any
Yeah.
question, you don't have to. What do you feel like you're getting out of this relationship? Especially this being long distance.
Yeah, I mean, we've been together for 3.5 years, so pretty much most of our relationship has been in long distance, like at our different colleges. What am I looking for, I guess, out of it? Well, I want to be with this person for a while, so I guess like marriage. So that's what I'm looking for.
And how did you meet this person?
We went to the same like elementary school, middle school, high school, so we knew each other and we were friends. And then during COVID, we started talking, so we kind of had that long distance kind of like relationship even back then because of lockdown and stuff.
Did the relationship start during high school?
Yeah, so it started, I'm a junior here now, so so it started like junior.
What was that like for you, kind of going from, well, I guess becoming the long distance as far as you are now?
It was definitely a hard transition. Like, you never really know what to expect, especially in terms of like trust and things like that. But I don't know, it was a good foundation that we had built, so it was hard, but now we've kind of gotten to the flow of things, so pretty good.
Would you say you get insecure at times? Or what are the times you get insecure about this relationship?
Yeah, I mean, my boyfriend's in a fraternity, so I guess you can like have those kind of thoughts, of like cheating and stuff, but I don't know, I really trust him, so I don't really like get those feelings, especially because where he is, he goes to TC&J, which is like a small state college in New Jersey, and so the culture is way different for fraternities there than it is here. So yeah, I guess there is some trust in the beginning, like issues, because trying to find your footing, but now it's good. So.
Do you think he gets insecure at times too about you being way out over here?
No, he's pretty secure, to be honest. Like, I don't really do, like, I don't really hang out with guys, not that, like, I'm not allowed to or anything. I just don't really do that. So, yeah, I don't think he doesn't trust me or anything. I think it's okay.
Do y'all tell each other if you get like approached, for example? Say like do you get approached by like people on campus being like, hey?
Every time I tell him, and I think it's so funny. Well, because like we think it's funny because there's this like one guy on the quad who came up to me and said, use the dumbest pickup line. Can I curse? I don't know if this is for class or anything. No, but yeah, the dumbest fucking
clearly
pickup
didn't
line
work.
ever. Like so dumb. And
what was it?
It was like.
Yeah.
He walked up and he was like, oh, sorry, like, I don't know you, but I'd like to get to know you. And I was like, okay, I'm good. And he like stopped me. I had my headphones on and I was like, what? I thought he was gonna ask me for directions or something, but no, he just asked me that. And I was like, I have a boyfriend, thanks though, like, all right. And then he's like, oh, don't tell him about this then. And I'm like, well, too late, because I'm gonna. So yeah, things like that is just funny to me. So there's nothing like really serious about things like that to us.
How'd your boyfriend react when you told him that?
He laughed. Like, it's nothing like crazy or anything, because obviously I wouldn't do anything. So
of course.
Yeah, just a lot of communication.
How often would you say people approach you, I guess, with the intent of dating?
I mean, I wouldn't say like very often. I don't really put up a front or anything to give those kind of opportunities, so because usually when I like go out, I'm just with like my friends and stuff, and we just stay together. So
Emily mentioned that there's a certain energy that gets put out when you have the intent to date or to not date. Why don't we take it to some people who choose to talk about why they are not wanting to date in college and why it's not for them. All right, first question is, what are your guys' names?
My name is Nimrod.
And I'm Bobby.
My name's Helene.
First question is, are you currently or have you been in a relationship in college?
In college specifically, no.
In college, no.
No.
Can I ask why or why not?
Because I feel like college is not the time to have a relationship, in my opinion. Unless you find like the one.
I'm just trying to look and focus on my studies first before I think of anything like that.
I'm not trying to get in a relationship. That might change, but not right now.
I guess when you do start looking for that more seriously, what do you look for in a partner?
I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
So I look at it in a biblical manner. A man of God, a man of faith, one that is consistent in his faith. It doesn't just, say it, slap a sticker of Christianity on himself, and then go and drink the next day. I want him to show his in actions as much as his words. And, I want to be able to talk to him and be able to communicate in a respectful manner of equals, not and as partners, than other than just, just as equals and partners, and be able to share anything and everything with him and be able to have a safe place in him and a good time as well.
How has that affected your day-to-day, I guess, being at a college that is not fundamentally established and mutually understood that like Christianity is kind of like a mindset?
It's harder to find a guy like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to find a guy like that, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to change my standards, because I'm a Christian as well, and I think I should hold myself to the same standards as I hold him. I think it's only fair that I do that, And and also as a Christian, I look forward to being a Christian wife someday. So also looking to the future in that sense. And when I find a partner, those kind of thoughts are going into my mind. So yeah, definitely hard to find, but we'll see.
I guess going back to both of you now, like, what is something you look for in a partner, ideally?
Both ways. Everything goes both ways. When you actually enjoy your time with them, I think that's how you know you found a partner.
Yeah, enjoying spending time with them, and they enjoy to spend time with you, and yeah.
Have you been approached by any people, we don't need to put gender on that, but people, I suppose, being like, hey, I think you're cute, I'd love to get your number. Has any of that happened to you?
Yes, a little, but I'm definitely more standoffish if in that sense. Some women come up and some guys, not so much, but definitely the women, and I've had to be like, I'm sorry, I'm not lesbian or anything like that. So I've definitely had to kind of make that stand in of itself, if that answers your question.
Would you say there's like a general approach style? Like, are they approaching you at a certain place, a certain time of day?
Well, sometimes you can go in the conversation, like I've given a girl a compliment and then realized that she's like blushing, and then like it kind of turns into like, oh, that's how you're looking at me. And I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to give that impression at all,
Just trying to give a compliment.
I'm just trying to be nice,
Does that kind of put a pressure on you? Be like, oh, do you regret it after saying something afterwards? Or like, oh.
Sometimes I have to like be more careful of what I say and how I bring myself about. In the beginning of the year, I was dressing up in like formal clothing all the times, and kind of in that sense. And I guess I could understand how someone could maybe get a certain kind of picture of me in their minds. So, yeah, I have to be more careful of what I say sometimes, and I think that's what I realized when I first got here in talking to others.
To kind of close, what is one thing you have observed about college dating scene that you find particularly interesting?
First thing is, I think everyone that came here were like that was already in a relationship. They broke up. That's one. I see
You're
now.
saying like from high school they were in
Yeah.
a relationship. They came to college, were like, actually.
Yeah, everyone that I know, everyone broke up. Like nothing lasted, and I don't know. I know some people that are in relationships here, but they I don't know. I don't think it goes very well from what I see.
Why do you think that those relationships didn't work out?
Like coming from high school,
Yeah.
because the distance. That's one. Trust. Like if you don't have trust, I think that's another key factor to a relationship. I don't think a lot of people had trust, and they got like insecure. They wouldn't trust their partner.
I wouldn't say that I really quite find something interesting in it.
I mean, it's interesting to see like people get into relationships in the first year of college. I think that's kind of definitely not something I would do. But yeah, I mean, and I don't think like that's the greatest idea, especially because there's 4 years ahead of us, and like there's so much time to just.
Yeah, and I also feel like you should let it come to you. If you're like trying to find love, like you should let it come to you. That's what I learned.
Once again, the rules are kind of different for me as a Christian. So, having, premarital sex and all that kind of stuff isn't interesting to me. I'm going to save myself for my husband. That's the kind of thoughts that I think. So I'm kind of standoffish about that. I've seen definitely more open relationships that I've taken note of. Not that I'm interested in it, but I'm just like, oh, okay. That kind of thought. But really, no. Sorry.
So we've heard from a few students about why they're not dating, but what about for the students that have either been in a relationship or currently in a relationship? Are you currently in or have been in a relationship in college?
Yes, I have. I'm currently in a relationship, yeah.
So what do you mean by relationship? You feel me?
How would you define relationship?
I would say a relationship is a title that both people agree upon.
I am in a relationship currently.
More openly on what people would consider a relationship, I guess not by your standards, but what people would generally consider a relationship. Have you been in one of those?
In life, yes, I have been.
In college?
Yes, I have been.
Yes, I have.
And what was the mindset going into those relations, maybe not relationships, but relations like?
Navigating that it was new to me. I hadn't been in a relationship in a long time. And to be fair, it was a pretty quick relationship, so I had to like learn different things.
Are you still with that person?
No, I'm not.
What happened?
It just didn't really work out. I think we were both very different people, and I think that's one great thing about college is that there's a lot of different people there, but on another level, you're not always going to get along with everyone, so it's definitely a learning experience.
I went and I had a girl who was in one of my classes, and I went, okay, she's involved with the church. Okay, she has a head on her shoulders. That's someone who will actually have my interests. You can't go and try to go after someone because of, number one, just because you like who they are as a person, or if you just go after them as what they look like. There's multiple factors that come into play at that point. They need to go and reciprocate it back, and they also need to go and look at you in the same light. If you're not seeing eye to eye with the person, then it's just gonna be one-sided in one way. That's what the main issue was for me, is that I looked at her in a certain light, she looked at me in a certain light, and we didn't see eye to eye. Right person, however, just didn't work out.
So my girlfriend at the time, she went to another college, so I did the long distance route for the first couple of years. And yeah, it was a little bit difficult, but we found a way to make it work, visit her probably once a week or, once a month, twice a month.
Why it didn't work out with that long distance relationship?
I would say the distance was, in the name, long distance is really hard. Not being able to see the person in person, to be able to touch them, feel them, hug them, and not even on a sexual route, but more on a human interaction route, And I would say that our relationship didn't work out because we didn't have enough of that.
Can I ask how you two had really navigated that journey of being together and then, or strangers to relationship to back to?
So I guess we're in the same dorm building, so we met through there. And just, it was kind of at the beginning of the year when you're meeting everyone and you're excited to meet everyone. Yeah, freshman, yeah, if you couldn't tell. So that's kind of how we met, but I think ultimately, we were hanging out a lot, but ultimately we both we're looking for different things in a relationship, and we were both kind of at different stages in that. So that's ultimately why we didn't go through things.
And I thought she was attractive, so I just kind of said something along those lines.
Yeah. And how was that the course of the actual situation, relationship?
Yeah, no,
it doesn't
that's
matter the label, but
yeah,
what
that's
was
the
the actual
closest.
navigating?
Actually navigating that was a little difficult because I'm a transfer student, so and that was, I believe, my second semester here, and I hadn't really talked to anyone up until that point. So I guess just navigating whether I'm more of a relationship person myself, so I wanted something more serious, but I was trying not to come off too strong or anything. So that was my biggest thing. It didn't work out because I think I got cold feet.
Cold feet.
Cold
Okay.
feet. It did get, I just said I was more of a relationship person, but when it got down to it and she said that she was ready to date, I got kind of nervous. And I started doubting myself and our connection, so I kind of stepped back. I feel like I was a grown up about it though. I told her, I was I don't think I'm ready. Currently in a relationship, yeah.
Okay, and how did that kind of develop?
It's funny, so I'm a grad student actually, and I did not go to school here undergrad.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just trying to make friends. Met my girlfriend in the gym, so.
She's also a grad student?
She's not, she's a junior right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you approach her?
What's that?
You approach her?
She approached me actually.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
And how did that escalate?
I don't know, really, to be honest. It's kind of a hard question to answer.
We met actually abroad in London, so we both did the Syracuse abroad in the summer, and we were in the same program, same class. It was pretty natural because we were kind of just hanging out with the same small little group for 3 weeks, and then so I guess it just kind of gravitated toward each other naturally, and then we both went home for the summer, and when we came back, kind of just we stayed in touch, social media and all that.
So I initially went up to her and introduced myself, but she was the one that grabbed my number and wanted to like hang out in that type of way.
How did you go up to her?
I went up to her because I recognized her from class, and then I saw her at the gym, and I just complimented her.
So it's funny. We actually went to the same high school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was wearing like a shirt like from that high school. So like she was like, oh, like I'm from Ithaca. Like,
Ithaca, okay.
yeah. She was like, oh, like I went to high school there. I was like, oh, no way. Like I went to college there for undergrad, but I also went to high school there. I was like, that's crazy. I like don't remember you from high school whatsoever. But yeah, from there we kind of just started talking, and I don't know, she was cool. So we didn't start dating till like actually like a while after that first contact. So I would like keep seeing her in the gym and stuff, and we were just like friendly or whatever. But I don't know. We just started hanging out. Like this was like fall semester. Was kind of busy. Like it's my first semester here, grad school and everything. Second semester, I was getting more comfortable. So that was definitely a big part of it. I was just kind of getting my feet wet, just getting more comfortable with being here.
Who kind of made the first move, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know, maybe me, but it wasn't like explicitly said, I guess. It just kind of like,
What do you mean?
just kind of gravitated toward each other, started hanging out every time, like when we'd go out, we would be together and that type of stuff.
Now being in this relationship, do you get approached by other people? You know, we don't have to put a gender on this, but like other people kind of going up to you with the intent of dating or dating you or trying to get more information from you, like your social media, what's your number?
How often do I do that? It's kind of rare.
Just like just in general in my college
In general,
experience.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
What was that like for you? Like, is that something you do frequent?
Not
that often.
super frequent.
Yeah.
I'm pretty like, I don't know, I'm a pretty like low-key guy. I kind of keep to myself. Yeah. So I don't know, if I really like see like the friendship has to be like the first thing, you know. So like if I really see that like, oh, like we're vibing, like get along well, then like I'll be down. But if it's like, I don't know, I'm not super like frequent with just like, if I just like meet you out or something, like get my information, like something happen from there. Usually not. So
I feel like you don't see that often anymore.
Why do you think that is?
I think just like, especially this day and age, like with phones and everything, I feel like it's like a lot of people just like resort to talking online, which is great. And I think also just like fear of getting shut down is pretty big. You don't want that to happen to you.
I feel like it's a couple things.
Okay. Yeah.
People are afraid of embarrassment as well, you know, and I don't feel like day-to-day approaches still happen as much. You know, people feel much more, to be honest, like comfortable when they're under the influence at a party. You know, they feel more comfortable when they're in clubs or like, you know, doing activities. But a girl you just see at the coffee shop, I don't think the average dude, you know, because, you know, dudes are going to be the ones you expect to go up. The average dude is not doing that as much, you know. And I feel like it's a fear of being a social reject because, hey, he's a weirdo, he's doing this, like, he's walking up to girls. But it's almost like a shaming tactic for a man being a man, you know. That's my point of view.
Do you feel like there's a lot of approaching done?
No, I've never been approached myself.
Why do you think that is? Or not the why haven't you been approached, but like why don't people approach? That sounds so fucked up.
Because of social media, Instagram, Tinder, Hinge. A lot of people that I've talked to, that's just their go-to, and they feel like it's a lot easier. So I feel like that kind of just like kills the in-person aspect of things.
What is one thing you have observed about the dating scene in college that you find to be particularly interesting?
I guess ghost people. I know I talked about that for a second, but it's very, yeah. I feel like that's a huge thing, at least in my experience, because there were a handful of times where I introduced myself to someone from class and asked them to grab a coffee or something. We grabbed that coffee and then I just never heard from them ever again. So that's like kind of interesting to me, like, but I don't know, maybe it's harder for them to just be truthful and just be like, I don't see you in that way. It's easier to just cut contact.
Honestly, it would be the hookup culture. Because everybody, well, it's not even just everybody, but it's how stuff spreads. And
how stuff spreads.
Yeah, not just information, but also that's how diseases spread too. And I'm just sitting here, I'm seeing stuff. I'm just seeing stuff happen, and I'm just like, oh, he only did this, and I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then even my freshman year, because I went to a small Catholic school. Background information about me. I went to a small Catholic school, and we never had nothing crazy like that happen. And so, I'm not gonna say the person's name, but there was this one girl in one of my classes. I thought she was cute. When I talked to her, I saw she had herpes. I started screaming.
Yeah.
I saw she had herpes, and then
Normal reaction.
I was like, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd never seen that in my life. Then that's when I cut the conversation short. I just left. Then I was like, I ain't never seen that. And then one of her friends went and talked to me. She was like, yo, like, so what happened? I was like, I told her what happened. She's like, oh my God, she was with this one dude last week, and then he tested positive. I was like, okay, that's crazy. It'll be that, because I didn't really take that into consideration, because we don't really think about that. And actually, like, seeing it with my own two eyes, I was like, damn, that's wild. Crazy thing was, it was on her lip too, so everybody's seen that shit.
As we conclude our exploration into why college students today are less inclined to approach dating in traditional ways, we've uncovered that the reasons extended far beyond the realms of digital communication. The narrative of dating and personal interaction is changing, reflecting deeper shifts in personal development, life goals, and perceptions of relationships. Many students feel that they are not yet where they want to be in life, choosing to focus on self-growth and career aspirations before entering into relationships. Concerns about health risks and the complexities of modern relationships also play a significant role in their hesitation to engage in traditional dating practices. Furthermore, the evolving nature of relationships, where old rules no longer seem to apply uniformly, leads many to question the relevance of pursuing relationships in conventional ways. These insights prompt us to consider the broader implications of how personal development and individual goals are shaping dating culture. What are we learning about the changing priorities of young adults? And how do these priorities affect their views on intimacy and relationships? As this generation navigates their unique social landscape, it's clear that the pursuit of relationships is being recalibrated to fit new personal and societal expectations. This shift invites us to reflect with dating and relationships. Thank you for joining me in this deep dive into contemporary dating life of college students. I invite you to continue this conversation reflecting on how these shifts align with or challenge your own perspectives on relationships and interpersonal communication.